my phone ended up dying on me, so I didn't get to complete camp out, but kind of kept going and packed up and brought the equipment and everything back to my car. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna continue what we was going into, pretty much, you know, prophecy, all right? Because, you know, you got, you know, the world right now, you got everybody talking about getting raptured and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? And they giving a date. They talking about sometime in September is gonna be this time of rapture, all right? And you know, when you go into the Bible, there's no such thing as, you know, God sending back his son, all right, to come and save the whole world, all right? That's not Bible prophecy, all right? That's not sound doctrine, okay? And furthermore, that's something that man made up, all right? And you know, that's why it's important to get into the prophecies, because when you understand the prophecies, you understand, all right, the timelines, okay? You know, and you will understand that World War III got to take place, all right? But before World War III, what are we waiting on? We're waiting on Esau to make this charagma mandatory, okay? All right, and that's coming soon, you know, like a movie preview, okay? Hey, because we could foresee that the times are short, and you know, we're hiding ourselves in a secret place, okay? So let me read right here in the book of Sirach. Let me read right here in the book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 7. It says, "Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance." So you ain't supposed to put off from day to day, okay? All right? Hey, right now, as the Spirit is constantly showing us that the times are short, okay? With the Spirit of the Lord, all right, being put on, you know, brothers and sisters, all right, and even individuals that are, you know, not even in the truth, all right, they coming out with prophetic dreams, okay? All right, just like it was spoken about in the book of Joel, all right? The book of Joel goes into that, okay? The prophet Joel, let's read that, okay? All right, because see, we're supposed to be locked in, you know, and what I had made mention is that when, you know, the animal, the owl, all right, when you look at an owl can, you know, look in a 360 degree, all right? An owl can damn near turn their head 360 degrees, okay? So they can see everything, and then they got great sight, especially in the dark, because their eyes are coated with a special oil for them to see in the dark, all right? So, you know, we got the eye salve, okay? So we're able to see in this dark land, okay? Hey, America, Babylon the Great, is the land of darkness, all right? But the Lord has shined upon us, so we able to see in this dark place, okay? All right, just like Job said, all right, the valley of the shadow of death. That's what America is known as, the valley of the shadow of death, and more death is getting ready to come. So even with you know, the time of Jacob's trouble happening, all right, and even you know, Esau making the chip mandatory, all right. Hey, World War III got to fully commence in order for Yahweh Shah to show up with the angels, man. You know, that's biblical prophecy, okay, and that's important to know. All right, so let me get Second Ezra real fast, the 9th chapter. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, let me get Sirach 39, Sirach 39, or Ecclesiasticus. Let me see, Ecclesiasticus chapter 30. Yeah, Ecclesiasticus 39 and 1. It says, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancients, and be occupied in prophecies." Okay, all right, so this is what we're supposed to be occupied in, all right? It's the prophecies, okay? And the Lord is bringing forth his word, you know, just like he said he would. All right, these words are faithful and true, you know. And you had that that video that you know, the brothers, you know, was at camp, and the man came up to him and he said, "I've been looking for y'all," you know. All right, so we know that, hey, this truth is getting ready to be made scarce and people getting ready to be, you know, looking for us, all right, to find this knowledge, but they ain't gonna be able to find it, all right. And that's why we gotta be locked in and secure, because hey, we could be here 1 minute and go on the next, you know, all right. So you know, we don't want the Lord to take the spirit away from us, all right. So the Lord put it in our minds to understand what His will is, all right, by tapping into the spirit of Yahweh Shai, man, all right. So Yahweh Shai said to be occupied until I come, all right. Multiply your talents, all right. Keep giving diligence to make your calling and election sure, all right. Because see, the Lord has called us, and Lord willing we're chosen, okay. But if you remain giving that diligence, that's a sign that, you know, the Lord will have mercy on us to beam us up into those ships, all right. Because everybody ain't gonna make it into those ships, you know. Everybody's not gonna make it into those ships, okay. So it says, He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, He will be there also, all right. So the Lord put the spirit on, who was it, the prophet Isaiah, or is it Jeremiah? It might be Jeremiah. It said, I have given you pastors according to my hearts, which shall feed you with knowledge and wisdom, you know, all right. So we believe that that's the apostles, you know, and everything that the apostles has given us, you know, hey, like the scriptures say, we entered into other men's labor, just like they entered into other men's labor. The Lord upgraded, made the corrections according to the doctrine, all right. But now everything is complete, you know. And so now we giving you everything, and everything is pretty much out there, you know, for what you need to know, and you know, for you to receive salvation if the Spirit is working with you, you know what I'm saying, all right. And I remember I forgot you know who had the dream, but you know, the brother was going into a dream that you know, the Apostle Tahar, you know, he had you know, he was looking like Mr. T. He had jewelry, he had chains, a bunch of chains all on his neck, you know. He had rings all on his fingers. Every finger he had rings on. He had bracelets all on his wrists. It was so much that nothing else could even fit, you know. So he couldn't put no more jewelry on, and it was like a symbolic saying that, you know, the doctrine, the information, everything that you need to know was complete. There's nothing really else for you to know, all right. And that's why we perceive that everything that, you know, that's been going on with, especially like the sister, she said, I believe her daughter had a dream that Apostle Hall was going to, you know, say this is the last video, okay. So we not going to be out here in the street corner. So right now, hey, you got to put in the work, you know, all right. You got to put in the work up until the Lord says, all right, it's time for, you know, you not to be a reprover to my people, okay. Matter of fact, let me get that as well, all right. So let me get that real fast. Hold on, all right, hold on. I believe that's in the reprover, all right. This is Ezekiel 3:26, and I will make thy tongue to cleave to the roof of thy mouth, and thou shalt be dumb, and shall not be to them a reprover, for they are a rebellious house. All right, so that's the end of the Lord giving forth that mercy, okay. You know, and all those that, you know, are locked in through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shema Rashad, that are of the Lord's elect, you know, hey, the Lord is going to have mercy on the brothers, you know, as well as you sisters that are out there, okay, you know, during these evil times, all right. So, you know, because hey, the Lord's gonna have those that's gonna make it, okay. He gonna have those that's gonna make it through all these evils, all right. Let me get real fast. Psalms 37. Psalms 37. Okay, this is Psalms. Let me see. Matter of fact, before I get that, first let me get Psalms. Let me get Psalms the 10th chapter. This is Psalms chapter 10 and verse 1. It says, "Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked In his pride to persecute the poor, let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. All right, so Esau, he's plotting against the just. Okay, and it's getting ready to get bad out here. And that hedge of protection is only going to be for those that have the blood of the Lamb. All right, that mark of exemption, that dawa. Okay, you're gonna have women, you're gonna have men, you're gonna have children. That's going to be allotted to be, saved. All right, because when you look into the word saved, it means to be rescued. Okay, all right. So the Lord going to be performing the impossible tasks that we don't have control over. That we, things that we can't do according to our might. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the Lord going to show wonders and miracles and things of that nature all on our behalves, man. He going to step in. All right, because we're worms out here. All right, that's how we gonna be able to make it through these times. Like I was reading in the book of Lamentations, Lamentations the 5th chapter. It says that Lamentations the 5th chapter says murderers. When you read into the GNLT, murderers shall be out lurking and wandering. All right, these cities and these streets, okay, to survive, and people gonna risk their lives in order to acquire the things that they need to survive, man. So that tell you how Mad Max and different scenario type of events are going to be out here, man. So these things are going to happen before even the ships even show up. Christians talk about they gonna get raptured in September. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even made it through Jacob's trouble. You ain't even proven yourself to the Lord that you believe. Ain't no way in hell your ass is gonna get raptured. You know what I'm saying? If that was a word in the Bible, you ain't qualified. Like Aaron the plumber, you ain't qualified. All right. You're not of the initiated souls. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You ain't reproving your people. You ain't out on the street corners, the highways and hedges. You ain't calling on the names of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. You're still preaching Jesus, another God. Okay. You're still teaching plantation Christianity. You already hit the 3 strike and you out. So you ain't fit to be rescued. Okay, especially even during a time of trouble. So this salvation, which is going to be a spectacular salvation, is only going to be for particular men. I like to call them extraordinary gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? All right. Which that was a movie that they came out with. All right. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? All right. Those are men that's gonna make it. Okay. So let me keep reading. It says, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire and blesses the covetous whom the Lord abhorreth. All right. So these Edomites, they believe that they gonna be able to chip the world up, where they only gonna get so far to, fulfill their enterprise and, chip people, because hey, that's part of the trying, that's part of the test. A lot of Christians, hey, you gonna fail that test, man, because you don't have Yahweh Shai as your foundation. That right now, you can repent, you can denounce JC and get with the Israelites, but a lot of you hate us. A lot of you scoff and mock and come against us. So you ain't gonna do that unless the Lord put a special spirit on you. All right. And it ain't really us that you hate. You just hate Yahweh Shai that's within us. Okay. So a lot of you are going to fail the test of being chipped up. All right. Which ultimately can initiate the last phase of the Most High's plans. All right. Which is to what? Have the missiles fly, man. All right. Because once people are chipped up, the Lord can destroy this place by that fire. And at the nick of time, that's when Yahweh Shai and the holy angels is going to arrive to save those that believe. And it's going to be a scarce type of salvation. It ain't going to be like we going to know. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a scarce type of salvation. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say that the righteous are going to be scarcely be saved. You know? All right? So everybody's not going to make it. So let me keep reading. It says, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous whom the Lord abhorreth. It says, the wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. Yahweh is not in all his thoughts. See, because Esau think that, yeah, he gonna, you know, build these weapons, design this new system, and, you know, he gonna have control through technology, and he gonna rule the world with this dystopian type of world that he got imagined, you know. But everything that he's built and the technology that was given to him is all gonna be a double-edged sword against him, all right? Because the same technology that they've been using and, you know, destroying people's lives with, and, you know, they getting ready to you know, use, well, that shit is getting ready to fall on Esau's head. You know, the missiles that he created, that's getting ready to fall on Esau's world. That's gonna be the end of his world right there. You know, ICBMs. Okay. It says his ways are always grievous, thy judgments are far above out of his sights. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. And that's the pride of this place. You see, America, man. You know, the pride in thine heart. You know what I'm saying? I sit as a widow. I shall never see the loss of children. You know, I will never be touched. Well, the Lord got a special end for this place. You know, a special destruction. That fire, it's gonna bake this place. You know what I'm saying? Fresh out the oven. You know, all right. Everything is going to be dissolved here. All right. Ezekiel saw the destruction. Jeremiah spoke about the destruction of Babylon. Isaiah spoke about the destruction of Babylon. John the Revelator spoke about the destruction of Babylon. You know, all right. Many prophets seen, all right, how this place is going to be ending. Now we have the full understanding of what the scriptures is talking about. Okay, 200 million missiles is going to land down on this place. You know, all right, and the Lord going to have them be spearheaded by the angels. Okay, to hit their target. They're not going to miss their mark. So it says, he hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit, and fraud under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Right? Because see, a lot of these Edomites, matter of fact, where's my pocket for that? A lot of these Edomites, man, they really think in their mind, like, you know, the Lord is not going to come back for us, but they gonna watch the salvation of the children of Israel. They gonna watch. The Lord gonna allow them to watch the elect get beamed up, because you know they got them satellites. When they in them bunkers and they hiding, you know, they gonna have satellites. Elon Musk is in charge of that. I forget what his satellite network is called. You know, where they could, you know, where people that's like living off the grid or in RVs and stuff like that, you can get with his network and get internet and all that. You know, so Esau gonna have ways to watch what the hell is going on in the outside world, man. You know, so guess what the Lord gonna do? He gonna allow you to use your technology to watch the elect get beamed up into the ships, taken at the right moment. When they watch the missiles fly, they gonna see the missiles come down. They gonna see the elect just disappear up into them ships. This is Wisdom of Solomon 5:2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond that they looked for, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he who he had sometimes in derision, and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of God? And his lot is amongst the saints. Therefore have we erred from the ways of truth, and the light of righteousness have not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. So our people are going to see the elect get beamed up. Esau's going to watch the elect get beamed up, you know, all right? And it's going to be a spectacular event, All right, the Lord's gonna, you could say, televise the salvation of his servants, just like he televised the deliverance of Israel during the time of Egypt. Okay, you know, you had Rahab the harlot. You had Rahab the harlot. You know, she heard about what happened to them Egyptians. You know, let me see. This is Hebrews 11 and Hebrews 11 and 31. It says, by faith the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believe not, when she received the spies with peace. And what shall I say? What shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon, and of Barak, and of Samson, and of Jephthah, of David also, and Samuel the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained the promises, stopped the mouth of lions, quenched the violence of fires, escaped the edge of the sword out of weakness, were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. It says, women received their dead raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. All right, so it says, and others had trials of cruel mocking and scourging, yet moreover of bonds and imprisonment. So this is, you know, going into accounts of different, you know, examples of, you know, things that happened to us in history that, you know, we overcame, all right, through faith. All right, but the point that I was getting was, you know, Rahab, all right, she understood that, you know, the God of the Bible, which is, his name is Yahweh, you know, he delivered his people from the hands of the Egyptians and drowned them, you know, and it was talked about through the land, which put fear on Rahab the harlot, you know, and she helped, you know what I'm saying, you know, Joshua and Caleb and them out, you know. All right, so it was you could say it was like televised. All right, it was heard throughout the lands. So this same type of deliverance, you know, it's gonna be seen, it's gonna be known, like, oh yeah, them was the chosen, you know. All right, Esau ass gonna get to see it too, just like we want to see his downfall. Hey, he gonna get to see our deliverance. So we gonna get to see his downfall. He gonna get to see our deliverance. Alright, so, you know, so that just right there show you how special the deliverance is. That it's not just gonna be a custom for everybody, you know. All right, everybody ain't gonna get that because they don't deserve it, you know. Shoot, brothers just fighting for life. You know, we fighting for life, man. You know, people just living their life being wicked and think they gonna get saved. Crazy as hell. But this is John 15. No, I'm sorry, I'm tripping. Why am I John? I'm tripping. I'm in John. I got John on my mind. John. But I wanted to go to Jeremiah. All right. Jeremiah chapter 15. Oh no, it's a 16. Yep. Jeremiah 16 and 14, it says, therefore, behold, the days coming, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north. All right, we're in the land of the north right now. It says, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. All right, so before we get taken out of this land, right, the scripture speak about, watch, let me get it real fast, in the book of Isaiah. All right, Isaiah the 9th chapter. Okay, because it you know, it speaks about how no, I'm sorry, the 6th chapter, in the 9th verse, how that this type of war, World War III, man, when it fully commenced, it ain't gonna be like regular wars. Okay. Let me see. What is it? Shoot. What is it? Is it 9? Am I tripping? 9 and 6. Which one is it? Maybe I'm tripping. Which one is it? He said, yeah, it must be removed. It might be the 9th chapter. I might be. The battle. I'm looking for the battle of shall not be. Okay, here it is. 9 and 5. That's what I'm looking for. New Bible. So bear with me. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Okay, you see, right? So this type of battle, this type of war is going to be with fire. All right, where that fire gonna come from? That fire gonna come from them ICBMs. All right. So the Lord said that, you know, He gonna save us out of the land of the north. All right, we're gonna go back to Jeremiah 15, right? But let me get Joel the prophet real fast. Let me get Joel. Okay. Let me get Joel the prophet. You know. Let me see where you at. Joe. Let me get Joe. You know what I'm saying? I wanna know. Do you wanna know? You know what I'm saying? How the salvation really gonna happen? Or do you want to believe a lie? You know? I want to know. I want to know. Where you at, Joe? Alright, let me see. Which Joel, he goes into World War III as well. The Valley of Decision, you know? Alright, he goes into it. He prophesied about World War III, okay? You know? So, there ain't gonna be no rapture in no, what was they saying, September? You know what I'm saying? Alright, that's next month. You mean to tell me everybody gonna get saved next month? The mark of the beast didn't even be made mandatory, you know? Jacob's trouble didn't even fully commence. Boy, these Christians need to sit their ass down and be quiet, man, and really get with the Lord's prophets, man. You know, and learn something instead of being proud. Okay. Shoot. Joel chapter 2 verse. Man, it's all good. Joel 2 and 32. It says, "And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord hath said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call." So you got to be an Israelite in order to be delivered, all right? Because, you know, the Lord called us by name, all right? And then Zion is the monument of the Lord, so that's the sons of Jacob, all right? To Zion. All right, and then it said out of the sons of Jacob is going to be a remnant. So that means it's going to be a small amount that are going to be saved. That don't mean that's going to be everybody whom the Lord shall call. All right, and that's who the Lord called, is the ones that the Lord predestinated from the foundation of the earth. The Lord had already from the beginning of the earth established who He was going to save from the beginning. You know, and they're back in their lot today. All right, that's why we say, Lord willing, we are the hopeful members of the elect. You know, all right, we're hoping to be saved. That's why we're striving. All right, with the sincerity of our hearts, sincerity of our minds, man. All right, to the best of our ability. All right, we're working out our salvation with fear and trembling. All right, because we know that the day of evil is approaching, the day of darkness, the day of gloom. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh Shai is coming. All right, with force and power. All right, he's bringing evil to this world. You know, He's not bringing peace to the world. He's coming with a sword. Okay. But then as He comes and brings destruction, He's also coming with the balance. He's coming with salvation, you know? And salvation is only for His elect, His people, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. All right? You know? So that's part of the song that we singing. you know? And you got to be tapped in to understand these words. All right? So that was it right there. That was it right there, you know? So let's go back into Jeremiah, all right, chapter 16 and verse 15. It says, but the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north and from all the lands where he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. All right, so we're going to get our land back. Okay, the Lord's going to pick up, okay, the dispersed, all right, those that look like the other nations, okay, but their seed line goes back into Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, it says, behold, I will send for many fishers, said the Lord, and they shall fish them, and after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. All right, so right now we fishing, okay, and fishing season is coming to an end, you know, so the time is short. All right, scripture say again, make no tarry to turn to the Lord. All right, we have a more sure word of prophecy. Prophecy will prevail. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Okay? And the water Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua for giving us sound doctrine, for opening our minds to his words. You see what I'm saying? Okay? Because these people are lost out here. They don't understand the Bible. They don't understand the scriptures, man. You know? All right? You got Christians really jumping up and down, getting on podcasts talking about they're going to be raptured in September something, September 30th, and then they don't even got the dates right. So it says, for my eyes are upon all their ways, they are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from my eyes. All right, so the Lord's eyes, all right, are the angels, okay, and they see what these elites, these banking families are up to, what they've been doing, all right, and they think that they're going to get away from the Lord, but they know prophecy too. They know that Yahweh Shai is coming. That's why, you know, you read Revelation, which I'll end it off on this. All right, Revelation the 6th chapter, okay? And it says, they said, hide me. No. They said, let the rocks fall upon us. I mean, they rather be in the mountains or in their underground military bases. All right, they're dumbs. All right, which is dumb to try to hide from the Lord, because you ain't gonna be able to hide. You know. All right, I sees you. You know I see you, right? That's the insider. You know I see you, right? But you know, we gonna see, but see, you know, the Lord gonna put the spirit on the elect to come down with that power, all right, to crush their pride, man. You know, that's what that power is gonna do. That power is gonna crush the pride of the top heathens in the other nations, man. Okay, this is so they you know, they know Yahweh Shai is coming. This is Revelation chapter 6, and man, in 12 it says, and I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. All right, because see, when those missiles come down, it says that the earth is going to roll to and fro like a drunkard, you know. All right, that's a lot of impact. It's going to shake the earth, you know. So it's going to be a lot of radiation. The Lord going to have only, you know, Babylon the Great be destroyed. The Lord could hold back like the pollution of the radiation and contain it, just like he contains the water from compassing, you know, the land. You know, there's a barrier at the beach. It's the reason why the waters don't really go past the sand shores. So the Lord could contain that radiation. So same thing with the land of Israel, you know, which will have the power to clean all that up. All right, and our land will be able to be rebuilt. But it's going to be a great earthquake that's going to take place when those missiles drop. Boom, 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 boom. You know, hey, everybody going to feel it. You know what I'm saying? And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely fig when she is shaken of a mighty wind. You know, so you know the missiles gonna go out the atmosphere and they gonna fall down like stars, man. Like shoot, like what you think is a shooting star. You know, all right, but it's gonna, hey, Lord gonna have them missiles flying fast. Like hypersonic missiles, ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, and the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled up together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place. All right, so when the you know, the missiles hit and the dust, you know, goes up, it's gonna look like a mushroom cloud, you know, and it's gonna block out the skies, man. You know, it's the reason why the nukes can't touch down, because the nukes will cause a nuclear winter. You know, you can look into a nuclear winter, but they got a movie on it. The movie is called Snowpiercer. That's a real good movie to watch, you know. All right, everything just turned into an ice age. All right, but that's not gonna happen in the end, though. But you know, a nuclear winter would happen. All right, if they was to drop those nukes. But however it happens, you know, we'll see how it happens. You know, it being contained and how it's gonna be contained. But we'll know then, you know, specifically, you know. All right, but it says that the sun is gonna be blotted out, right? The earth, the mountains are gonna move, and then it says, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So these elites, they know Yahweh Shai is you know, coming, and the elect are going to take them out of their holes, man. You know, so when Yahweh Shai comes, all right, that show you right there if everybody, I mean, the elites will be saved, but they're not going to be saved. They going to be trying to hide from the Lamb, you know. So these are scriptures just showing you that, you know, the elites are going to be hiding. They're not going to be saved. The missiles are going to drop on America. It says, you know, it tell you, matter of fact, it tell you in Jeremiah 51. It tell you in Jeremiah, matter of fact, let me get Isaiah. Let me just get Isaiah, just to get straight to the point. Isaiah 19. All right, when you read these scriptures, you know, these are precepts. Okay. All right. Isaiah 19 and no, I'm not tripping. No, I'm tripping. Yeah, I'm sorry. Isaiah 13, I'm sorry. Isaiah 13. Isaiah 13 in verse and 19, it says, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be, I'm sorry, Isaiah 13 and 19. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabians pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and the dragons in their pleasant palaces, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So Babylon is not going to be inhabited. Okay. All right, nothing is going to dwell here. No businesses. Everything that you see is going to be totally destroyed, you know. All right, and it's going to be a sign. All right, it's going to be one of the great destruction. The Lord is going to only allow the elect to be saved out of here, and that's going to be part of the testimony and the story that the elect are going to tell for generations. All right, so that's pretty much it. All right, Lord willing, it was edifying to the Lord's elect. The water for you brothers that did tune in to the camp. Giving all praises to our powers, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash, Brakateh Yahweh, Brakateh Yahweh Shai, Brakateh Yahweh, Brakateh Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone, and peace salutations to the Lord's elect. Shalom Akim, all right, and above, Kwam Yasharala. Let's go, champ.